Yo, 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 what's good, family? It's your boy DJ Universe, and you're tuned into another fire episode of They Dream Hustle podcast. Today, we're flipping the script a bit. I want to take you behind the curtain on how this podcast came to life. Nah, it wasn't magic, and it wasn't just luck, trust me. It took hustle, strategy, and, some good folks like the team over at Jellypod.ai. Real talk, Jellypod is the plug that made this whole thing happen, for real. So, if you've been sitting on an idea, maybe dreaming of starting your own podcast, but don't know where to even begin, this one's for you. I'm gonna lay it all out. The story, the tools, and the grind that turned the Dream Hustle podcast from just a thought into, a movement. So let's get into it, y'all. Let's go. All right, so here's how it started. Y'all know I've always been about the hustle, whether it's managing artists, producing beats, or helping people navigate the music industry. Hustling is kind of in my DNA, you feel me? But at some point, I realized something was missing. I wanted to do more than just the music grind. I wanted to inspire, motivate, really shine a light on this path for others trying to come up. And that's how the vision for this podcast was born. But let me keep it real with y'all. Having a vision is cool, and all that inspiration sounds great. But putting it in motion, that's a whole other beast. I didn't have $1 million studio. I wasn't rolling with some big shot production team. Nah, all I had was the basics. A mic, my laptop, and, a dream. That's it. And honestly, I think sometimes we overthink it, like waiting for the perfect setup or the right time. It ain't about perfect. It's about starting where you're at with what you got. And that's where, Jellypod.ai came in clutch. I'm telling you, these folks overstood the grind, the mission. Everything started feeling possible. But I'll get into that in just a sec. So, let me put y'all on game. Jellypod.ai, man, they're like having a whole squad in your corner for real. They made starting this podcast way easier than I thought it'd be. I'm talking everything, from helping me set up that feed to getting it distributed on all the big platforms. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, you name it. I didn't have to stress about the tech. Nah, Jellypod handled all that so I could stay in my lane, focus on the content, the storytelling, and check this. Branding? Seriously, they took it to another level. Y'all see the logo, right? That clean vibe. They gave me that, and it ain't even feel complicated. It was like having a legit creative team without needing a big production budget or anything crazy like that. From the look to the flow, they had my back. Honestly, it was like what every creator dreams of. A platform that's just, kind of built for our hustle. And that's the thing about Jellypod. It's not just about the tools. It's how they understand what creators are out here trying to do. It's like they get the grind we're on and make moves to support it. This podcast, this movement y'all are hearing, started because they made it easier to focus on what really matters, connecting with y'all. Now let me bring it back to what inspired all this, hip-hop. At its heart, this culture, this movement, it's always been about hustle and resourcefulness. Take it back to the beginning, right? Kool Herc, the father of this whole thing, he didn't have some next-level studio or crazy tech. Nah. My man had 2 turntables and a vision. That's all he needed to spark something the world had never seen before. And Grandmaster Flash, legend, innovated with what he had, made it work, pushing boundaries with every scratch, every spin. That's what hip-hop is about, taking what's in front of you and flipping it into something extraordinary. And when I think about starting this podcast, it's like tapping into that same energy. I looked at what I had, a laptop, a mic, and some ideas, and thought, let's build something dope. That's where, I gotta say, Jellypod kind of clicks into that same story. It reminds me of the breakbeat. You know how DJs in the Bronx would loop those killer beats to get the crowd moving? Jellypod is like that. It's the foundation. It doesn't tell you what to create, but gives you the space to create something original, something unique. Just like that mic is to an MC, Jellypod is to creators like me, like us. It amplifies your voice so you can be heard. And hip-hop, man, it's always been more than music. It's about community. It brought people together. It still does. That's what this podcast is for me. It's a place where dreamers, hustlers, and creatives, we all link up. It's like building this network where we're all lifting each other, grinding together, sharing the journey. It's that same vibe that hip-hop came from when it started in the parks and streets. All right, y'all. Picture this. You've got the tools, you've got the vision, and now it's about putting it all to work. That's what I did, man. I dove in. I started planning out my episodes, figuring out the stories I wanted to tell, the people I wanted to bring on, and the kind of content that would really vibe with all of you. And let me tell you, having Jellypod in my corner made it so much smoother for real. Uploading, scheduling, sharing. It was like having a cheat code to get my episodes out into the world. And the feedback, man, it's been incredible. Hearing from y'all about how an episode resonated, how it got you hyped to chase your own dreams, that's the kind of energy that keeps this whole thing going. Now, I got to keep it 100 with you. If you're sitting there thinking about starting your own podcast, don't overthink it. Like you really don't need some fancy $1 million setup or a degree in audio tech. Nah, what you need is simple. A story, some passion, and the right platform to get it out there. That's it. And honestly, Jellypod.ai is that platform. They make it easy, like ridiculously easy, to just focus on creating and sharing, not stressing over the tech stuff. Yo, so let me break it down for my aspiring podcasters out there. You got an idea? Cool. Now stop sitting on it. For real. The game is all about execution. You don't need some mega studio or high-end gear to start. Nah, start where you're at. Use what you got. If you've got a phone and some basic edits, you're already ahead of where I started. Platforms like Jellypod, they got your back, so no excuses, fam. Just do it. And here's the thing. Don't be scared to experiment, all right? Your first episode, it ain't gotta be perfect. I mean, when I dropped my first mix, let me tell you, it wasn't the smoothest. My first event, kind of rough. My first podcast episode, man, let's not even talk about that. But the key is you learn. Each drop, each release, you're picking up skills, figuring out your sound. And that's what it's really about. Progress over perfection every single time. All right, y'all. That's the story of how They Dream Hustle podcast came to life. From a vision to a reality with the help of Jellypod.ai and a whole lot of grind. For me, this platform has been a way to share stories, connect with y'all, and build this dope community of dreamers and hustlers. Honestly, it's been fire watching how we all inspire and lift each other up, you know? So here's my challenge for you, right? If you've been putting off that idea, maybe dreaming about starting your own podcast, or whatever it is, get moving. Stop waiting. Check out Jellypod.ai. Take that first step. Who knows, fam? Maybe I'll be vibing to your show next, or maybe your moves will spark the next wave of creators out here. It's about making it happen, no matter what resources you got. This is DJ Universe signing off, reminding you, dream big, hustle harder, and never stop pushing. For real, we're all in this grind together, and I can't wait to see what y'all create. Thanks for rocking with me on this episode of the Dream Hustle podcast. Until next time, stay grinding, and stay shining. 1.